Hello, hi, good evening, everyone. So, today we are going to be talking about the communication mistake that makes you look less qualified. I'm going to go on to Instagram and we're going to go live on Instagram as well. So, give me a sec and we'll make a start. Let's put in a title. Let's see. If you're catching up with this one, did you watch day one? Has anybody done their assignment? The assignments I gave you. Let me see. Yes. 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 Just typing it in. We have a working title, and we're going to go live now. Instagram is telling me that it's letting people in. Yeah, so we're live everywhere now. So let's give it 1 minute. Hi, Instagram fam. We're on day 2 of what it takes to be a project manager. As we did yesterday, I'm live on both Instagram and on YouTube. So we're going to, you may see my face darting between the two screens. That's the reason why. Today is Friday, so I'm going to keep it brief and not too long. Yesterday we were talking about how to change your messaging, how you need to speak like a project manager, how you need to deliver what the hiring manager, what your boss actually wants to see when you're delivering, when you're working with your team, when you're leading your projects. We talked about all the things that you should be doing to make sure that you're delivering quality. The questions, the things that you're thinking about. We talked about, I'm just looking through what we said. We said, um, we were talking about making sure that um, you're not waiting for permission before you start building your PM career. You don't think that your transferable skills are enough, and because you have transferable skills, then you're not building on your career. You're not um, doing more to build your career. You should always be on a continuous path of learning. Right? That's what it takes to be a project manager. You should also not be waiting for permission. There will be projects that you can work on all the time. Look around you. There's always a project going on. Volunteer and take ownership, be part of the process. You don't have to lead the whole project, but you can lead part of the project. Okay. And then we said, when you don't understand the job market, because the job market right now is um, it's a bit tasking at the minute, right? But you need to understand what people are looking for. Like I was saying before, the your recruiting managers are looking for people that can talk clearly, right? That can work with different people, that know how to solve problems, and can organize information and stay calm when things change. Because in management, things change all the time. All the time, things change. So they want you to be able to make the changes as quickly as possible when something has changed. Okay? All right. So today we are going to be talking about communication. Communication, that thing that if you don't do it right, can make you look like a junior person, can make you look less qualified than you actually are. It's really important that you learn how to communicate in a project setting because you're dealing with different type of people, right? Instagram is telling me some people are coming in because it's taking a bit longer than we expect. When you're communicating, you want to make sure that the person that you're coming, you understand the person you're communicating with. You should be first seeking out to understand the person, not to be understood. Seek to understand what the person is saying. Seek to and ask clarification questions if you need to, because if you don't understand the person um, may not understand you or may not even be interested in understanding your point of view. So it's really important that first of all you try to make sure you understand the person that you are speaking to. Okay. Now, if you're speaking and you're communicating and you're not confident, it kind of shows. It gives off some negative vibes. So when you have you ever given an update and you gave the update and they asked a follow-on question and you couldn't quite answer and you were mumbling and the manager or whoever you gave the update to said, please can you go and validate your information and come back to me? It's because you weren't clear when you gave the information. Or worse still, you give your update and they turn to somebody else and ask, is that correct? Or they go after the meeting and ask some SME or an expert somewhere else to validate the update you gave. It's because they don't trust the information you have provided. And for them to trust the information you provide, do your homework before you go into the meetings, before you provide the update, first and foremost. And after you've done the homework, make sure you give the information succinctly and clearly. And when you're giving the information, don't just give surface level information. There's some project managers that would just read the report, and you can see I have my phone with me. So there's some project managers that would just take the phone or their iPad or wherever they wrote it and just start reading the report as it is verbatim there. No. First of all, you need to understand the report and then go understand what's going on to the next level. Give a high level update, but make sure you have the next level of detail just below it so that if they ask a follow-on question, you have an answer. Even if sometimes the question might not be something that you should know, you can say, I don't know the answer to that question, but we have this, and I can get clarification on this further question you have asked. Show that you know more than just what is written on the paper or is on your iPad. It's really important. Don't just give the summary and then anything else is, well, it's not my job, so I don't know. That is not putting yourself in a place to command respect and command trust in what you deliver. So that's the first thing about communication you need to really understand. So real communication is when you're short in what you're saying, you are calm, you are clear, and you are straight to the point. No waffling, just be straight to the point. Okay. At the beginning, you heard me, and while I was waiting for people to come, I was talking, but I wasn't actually talking directly about this. I was just giving some points before we started the conversation because I was waiting for people, right? But when you're giving updates, when you actually have to start speaking, no waffling, be straight to the point. Give the points that you know they need to hear. Project managers, and in any capacity, you don't have to be a project manager. You could be the project coordinator, the project administrator, the planner, whatever your role is, even if you're not even the project manager and you're just working in some other capacity, you want to make sure that when you're communicating, your communication is short, concise, calm, you are clear, and you're straight to the point. It's really important. It helps people, busy people, to understand quickly. Imagine when you're talking to a boss, you're talking to a stakeholder or your program manager or your sponsor that has to deal with and has to get updates from 10, 50 other projects that are going on at the same time. It doesn't have time to go into the nitty gritty, might not even be interested, except there's a problem. So, what they want from you, first and foremost, is that they want to understand what is happening right now, what's changing, and what do they need to do next. What has happened? What have you done about what has happened? Or what is changing? Why do they even need to care? Why are you even bringing it to them in the first place? So, what's happening? Why are you bringing it to them? Why they need to care? Um, what is changing as a result of what has happened? And what needs to be done next? Those are the three things you want to always make sure you give first. You give the summary, high level information before you go into any detail, right? And if they want the detail, they will ask you for the detail. Assume that they're not going to ask you if they don't want the details first. They always just want a high level summary. So when you're speaking to senior stakeholders, even to your team, you're in a meeting, give the high level summary first. When this meeting, you're in a meeting, the outcome of this meeting is supposed to be XYZ. At the end of this meeting, I expect that we would have agreed on the approach to solving the problem that we currently have. Or it might be at the end of this meeting, I would have given you a summary of what we have done so far to fix the issue that we had last week. Right, be very clear. That's what you want to do all the time. So when you're preparing for a meeting, when you're preparing to give an update, make your notes before the meeting. Preparation before the meeting is really important because it will help your communication. At the beginning of the day, sometimes it might not be a meeting, it might be impromptu, but you know what happened last week, you know what happened yesterday. So have a brief summary in your brain as to what has happened, so that if somebody sees you on the corridor and asks, you can give very high level summary. This is it. This is what happens. This is what has happened. This is what's changing as a result of what has happened. This is why you should care. And this is what we're going to need to do next. Even if that thing is, we're going to have to hold a meeting to find out the next step, right? Hi, everyone that has joined. I'm talking to two cameras, so that's why I'm looking around, but let's carry on. So that's the second thing, okay? Now, many people, what they get wrong is they hide behind the message when they're not sure. They waffle. They say things like, "I'm just checking in. Sorry to chase you. I'm not sure if this is making sense. You're sounding unsure. Can I quickly ask a question?" No. Rather than saying, "Can I ask a question?" Summarize. So let me just to not don't you don't even have to say just to confirm. So to be clear, this is what I heard you say. Is that correct? This is the summary of what you just of the discussion we just had. If it's wrong or if you have misinterpreted something, they will tell you. Or sometimes you say, "I might be wrong, but this is what I think I heard." No, this is what I heard. Is that accurate? And they will tell you. But you have to come off like you know what you're saying and you're sure. But you so and all of that comes out, that confidence comes out with your preparation and your practice and how often you do this, then you become more confident in doing it. So the I'm just checking in, I just want to chase you, no. But this is a gentle reminder about this document that we have agreed will be delivered on X date. It's a final reminder that we need to submit this document on Thursday. If we don't submit it on Thursday, this is what is going to be impacted. Just be clear on the consequences. If we plan this, if we plan it and we do it, this is what will happen. If we don't do it, this is what's going to happen. Be clear, and it helps everybody around you to also work with clarity. Okay? So this is a simple framework. I promised that I was going to keep it short. So this is the framework you need to follow. It's what we plan to do, what changed when you're giving an update, what the impact is, and what you're going to do next. Okay? What we plan to do, what changed, what the impact is, and what are we going to do next. If you have that in mind, what did we plan, what changed, what is the impact of that change, and what we're going to do next. Those are the things you need to keep in mind when you are giving an update about a problem. If the update is about your progress on a piece of work, then it's a different framework. It's this is the project, this was the action, this is what we have done, and these are the remaining steps to be taken. Short, brief. If there's an escalation, this is what the problem is, this is why you should care, and this is what we need to do next. Because that's what they want to know. And when you say why they should care, It might be because of the financial implications. It might be because of the time delays that it will cause, right? But be very, very clear, succinct, and straightforward all the time. Now, in the interest that this is a communications and how you deal with your stakeholders conversation, we're not going to be too long on this one. But if you keep that framework, most of your communication will always sit around what I've just explained. And you always have to remember that when you're talking to executives, keep it short, keep it brief, give a summary. If they want more detail, they will ask for it. But always know the next level just below that, because it helps. It helps to explain. It helps to make them understand. Think about it when you're getting ready with your summary. Hi, Dumate, Lex, Top Trend. Thank you for joining. Osagwe, thank you for joining as well. So it helps. Think about it when you are preparing for the update. You have questions of yourself. If as you are writing your updates, if as you are writing, pulling through your summary, you have a question that you have in your own mind, make sure you have answered the question that you are asking yourself. You know why? 9 times out of 10, somebody else is asking that same question. So don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt your ability. Don't doubt your competence. Sometimes you don't know the answer to the question, so and you leave it. No, don't leave it. Make sure you know the answer, because when you go in front of someone, you imagine the feeling? You had the same question, you didn't get the answer, and then you go in front of a senior executive or you go in front of your team and they ask you the question and you don't have an answer. Now, if it's something that you don't have an answer to, when you go for that meeting, if it's a project meeting, then you ask you ask in the meeting. So this is the update, but I have a couple of questions, or there are some points I would like us to clarify in this meeting to make sure that we're all aligned on the same page. Easy. You set out the question before you even get asked. That's how you speak with confidence. So it has to be simple, confident, and clear. So let's give an example. So most of people will say, "Hi, just checking if you finished. Please let me know. Sorry to chase." No. If you're going to say it in an email, you would say, "We plan to finish the graphics by Tuesday. Delivery is now delayed. This affects Thursday's review. My suggestion is to move Thursday's review," right? Or my suggestion is we need to scope some of the work so that we can still meet the deadline we agreed with our clients. Okay, so keep it brief, just same sequence like we talked about. Now somebody's going to ask me, well, there's AI is going to help me with my writing. I don't need to worry about that. AI can help me summarize my notes. Yes. AI can help you write your CV. Yes. AI can help you with a lot of things. But when you're in the meeting, AI is not going to come and talk for you. When you are giving an update to your boss, AI is not going to come and talk for you. When you're in an interview, AI will not respond for you. That's verbal communication. So make sure you have your verbal communication locked in. AI can help you with that, but ultimately you need to be able to do that. You need to be able to communicate verbally, succinctly, and to the point. Now, if you are rambling, going around in circles, not giving the right updates, unsure, you're not prepared, it shows. When you come into those meetings unprepared, it shows, right? And it puts you in a bad situation. It doesn't garner trust with your stakeholders. When a stakeholder decides to go and ask somebody else for the same question he asked you, it's telling you that he didn't trust you. He doesn't trust your updates. He doesn't trust the information you provided. So you should always make sure that you're one step ahead of whoever you're communicating with, wherever possible. And when you're not, be upfront about it. So this is all I know right now. I had a couple of clarification questions, this, and this, which I haven't yet been able to clarify, but I expect I'll be able to clarify it in our meeting that's happening later on this afternoon, and I'll come back to you with an update. Hi, Lion. Thank you for joining. Okay, so that's what you do. So AI will help you. Like I said, AI will help you to be better at your writing. You might not even be better. It will just help you write it, right? But it's not going to help you communicate um, and talk by yourself. But you can practice with AI. You can get better using AI, but you have to learn the skill. It's really important because that's one thing that AI is not going to do for you. It's not going to take it away. Your tools, if you're hoping and you're depending on tools, project management is not just about the tools. The tools make things easier, but that's not the be all and end all. A tool can fail, but you can, if you're communicating, you can, if a tool fails, you can just get another tool. If you've communicated wrongly, that could be the end of your role. Okay. So why is this skill really important? I've already mentioned it. When hiring managers see clear communication, they think this is somebody that we can trust. This is someone that stays calm under pressure. This is someone that can explain the next steps. This is what has happened. This is why it happened. This is what has changed. This is what we're going to do about it. Right? See how simple it is, how I laid it out. If you always have that structure in your mind, you can't go wrong. Okay, if you're talking to a senior person or in your team, you can also add, and this is why you should care about this. Every day this problem is not solved, we're losing £1,000. Every day this project is delayed, we're losing £30,000 revenue, £1 million revenue. It matters if they understand the difference between for a senior stakeholder that manages millions of dollars worth of projects, right? If one project has and the delay is causing $1 million revenue loss every day, for instance, and there's another project that they could be fined £1,000, what do you think? Which one will matter more? Yeah, so you need to give them that information upfront. This is why it matters. This is why you need to pay attention to what I'm saying. You have a stakeholder, you have a silo, I like to call it a bottleneck. This one person is the single source of failure because he has all the information. He's the only one that knows how to do this particular thing. And he said he's resigning. And you have nobody else in the company. That is information that you must make sure you pass to whoever you're speaking to so that they can do something about it. This is why you should care. Just giving you examples of scenarios and situations where leaving out this pertinent information will not is the wrong thing to do, right? So you have to plan your thoughts, think about what you're going to say before you need to say it, and that's what project management is about. Stakeholder management, communication is a key part of project management. So that's why when you go for interviews, sometimes you see them asking, so how did you manage this? How did you manage conflict? How did you manage your stakeholders? How many stakeholders in what in how many stakeholders in what? They won't ask you how many stakeholders, but they expect you to give them so that they have a feel for the amount of people you've had to deal with and the complexities of your stakeholder map. Now, if you don't know what stakeholder map is, it's just the people that care about the project. If you don't know what a stakeholder is anybody that has a reason to care about the project going on or the initiative happening. I don't want to use the word stake, right? But that's what it is. I'll give you an example. There's a wedding. The groom is a stakeholder, the bride is a stakeholder, the bride's parents are stakeholders as well, right? Um, the vendors are stakeholders. Even the public, the people you've invited, they're stakeholders. Why? They're coming to your event. If they come to a sloppy event where they can't sit down, they're not going to be happy. So they're stakeholders. Now, the amount of attention you pay to each stakeholder will be different, right? The amount of information you give each stakeholder will be different, but all of them have an interest in what is going on that project. So that is why you also need to understand how to communicate to each stakeholder in the right way and in the right manner, right? You need to understand their power, the level of influence they have, and the level of interest that they have. That's our power matrix, power interest matrix in project management. If you've never heard of it, that's what it is. Okay, so you And then you have our RACI matrix, which is the who is responsible, who is accountable, who needs to be consulted, who needs to be informed. All of those things, you learn it in project management because it determines how you communicate all the time, right? So that what I've just described is the strategy, the tools for communication, right? But there's also the way, the mannerism, how you communicate the information. And that's what we explain, the framework you need to use when you are communicating. Hi, everyone that's just joined. We've talked a lot about a couple of things in terms of communication. I've given a framework for how you need to communicate in meetings, how you need to communicate um, to your senior level stakeholders, always summary first, how to make sure you don't look stupid after you've given an update. So you give your update, but always make sure as you're preparing that you have the next level of information further down, just in case they ask a follow-up question. You want to avoid being asked a follow-up question and you say, I don't know. You want to have as much as you can. And when you don't have enough information, you say, I'm going to find out and I'll get back to you. There's no harm in not knowing. But there's a way you can say, I don't know. Please, yes. Something I learned from one of my bosses, because somebody came into a meeting, didn't know, was asked a question, didn't know the answer. And rather than say, I don't know, started trying to, it was fumbling, rambling, giving explanations. Of course, the guy called his bluff. You don't know the answer to my question. I'd rather you tell me you don't know and you will go and find out than this. We spent 10 minutes, I've spent how many minutes listening to you, and I can tell that the answer is wrong. It was so embarrassing. So embarrassing. So if you don't know, particularly in a meeting, just say, I don't have all the information. This is what I do know. And the rest I'm going to find out and come back to you. That is better. That raises the level of trust all stakeholders that are listening to you will have for you in the meeting. Really important. Okay. So remember, this is the task I want you to do. Pick one message that you need to send this week or next week because today's Friday. Think about it, or think about the messages you sent this week, throughout this week, or the one that you need to send next week. How could you have done better in the message that you sent this week? How could you have done better? Could you have delivered the same message better than you delivered it today? Right? And practice what you would do next time if you had to deliver the same message. Yeah, that's one. If you have a big message that you need to deliver tomorrow, think about it. How can I deliver the message for tomorrow, or rather for next week, better? What do I need to do? How have you structured it the way I've just mentioned to make sure that you're giving only the information that is required? And then I said also that if, as you're preparing, you have a question about your update, you can 9 times out of 10 be sure that the person you're giving the update to has that same question. So find out the answer before you go into the meeting. It helps. It shows that you're prepared. It gives you more confidence, and it makes you look like somebody that has it all put together. Okay. All right. So that's the assignment. Pick a message. Use the framework that I've provided today, and answer the question. Tomorrow we're going to be on Zoom. I'm not coming on the live. If you want to be part of the Zoom conversation, just send me a DM, send me a chat. If you're watching on Insta, on YouTube, put a comment in the chat and I'll send you the link to join the Zoom call. If you're on Instagram, same thing. Put a comment and I'll send you the link. I'm also going to send you one of our guides. It's the 10 mistakes that project managers make and how to avoid them, how to fix it. And further training as well. Okay, so come for tomorrow's meeting. Send me a link. Ask that you want to be part of our Zoom meeting tomorrow, and we'll send you an invite with a lot of bonuses as well. It's Friday evening. Be good, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.